Under a rain-soaked Chicago night, Ben Carter, a single dad scraping by, spotted a shivering stranger on Haven Street. She was alone, robbed and defiant, her eyes hiding a secret bigger than the storm. Offering her his couch for one night, he had no idea she was a millionaire's daughter or that her heart would find a home in his. Welcome to A Story That Lingers. Before we continue, let us know in the comments where you're watching. If these stories resonate with you, please hit that subscribe button to support the channel, because tomorrow we'll have another special story for you. The Chicago night was heavy with rain, the neon glow of a corner tavern flickering across wet pavement. Ben Carter, 34, trudged through the downpour, his city sanitation uniform soaked reflective stripes, catching the light like faint stars. His shift had ended an hour ago, but the ache in his bones lingered, a reminder of 12-hour nights sweeping streets to keep the lights on for his daughter Sophie. At the end of Haven Street, he spotted a figure huddled under a broken awning, shivering in the cold. She was young, maybe late 20s, her dark hair plastered to her face, arms wrapped tight around herself. "You shouldn't be out here alone," Ben said, his voice low but firm, rain dripping from his cap. "This isn't a good place to stand around at 2 a.m. The girl turned sharply, startled, her eyes wide with fear, darting toward the shadows before settling on him. "I don't need your pity," she snapped, hugging herself tighter, her voice shaking but defiant. Ben stepped closer, careful to keep his distance, his hands raised slightly to show he meant no harm. "I'm not offering pity," he said. "I'm offering a place with heat, running water, and no trouble waiting in the dark." She hesitated, her lips quivering, not just from the cold. He saw the tremble in her fingers, the way she glanced down the block like she expected someone to appear. "What happened?" he asked, softer now. She looked down, rain pooling at her feet. "I got robbed. Phone's dead. Bag's gone." Ben let the silence hang, the rain drumming steadily. "You want to call someone?" She shook her head, quick and firm. "I don't want to talk to anyone. I just need somewhere safe until morning." Ben hesitated. His instinct screamed to walk away. Sophie was asleep at home, and he didn't take risks with strangers. But something about her pride tangled with fear made him pause. He adjusted his work bag. "All right, I live 2 blocks over. It's not much, but it's warm. Couch is yours for the night." Her eyes flickered like she might argue, but her knees buckled slightly, exhaustion winning. "Okay," she whispered, barely audible. They walked in silence, Ben keeping a respectful distance, his eyes scanning the street for trouble. At his small duplex, he unlocked the door carefully, the faint creak echoing in the quiet. Inside, the air smelled of coffee and crayons, a tiny pink backpack by the door, Sophie's book stacked on a shelf. "Take your shoes off there," he said, pointing to a mat. "Couch is yours. Blankets in the closet." She nodded, wiping rain from her cheeks with a wet sleeve. Ben moved to the back into a cluttered room where he kept his things. He locked his wallet and keys in a drawer, habit not suspicion, then returned with a clean towel, a dry sweatshirt, and a faded quilt. "Bathrooms to the right," he said, handing her the bundle. "Shower if you want. Water takes a minute to warm up." She took it with both hands, her eyes flickering to his face, confused by his calm neutrality. "Why are you doing this?" she asked, her voice small. Ben rubbed the back of his neck, rain still dripping from his cap. "Because you look like you needed help. I'd hoped someone would do the same for my daughter if she ever needed it." She flinched slightly at daughter but said nothing. Ben scribbled a note, set it beside a mug of water, warmed in the microwave, and placed both on the coffee table. "If you need to call someone, landlines on the wall. Closet has more blankets. Keep the door closed. My daughter's a light sleeper." Then he slipped into the bedroom he shared with Sophie, closing the door softly. Olivia Grant sank onto the couch, the quilt heavy around her shoulders. The warmth of the mug seeped into her hands, and for the first time that night she felt safe. The house was quiet, the rain softening outside. This man hadn't asked her name or pried into her story. He hadn't made her feel small or judged. She didn't know who he was, but for now that didn't matter. She curled up the couch, creaking under her, and let sleep take her. Morning light filtered through thin curtains, waking Olivia to the sound of a child's laughter high and bright. She blinked, disoriented, the quilt tangled around her legs, the smell of burnt toast drifting from the kitchen. Across the small living room, a girl with curly brown hair sat cross-legged on the carpet, stacking plastic blocks into a wobbly tower. She giggled, unaware of Olivia stirring. "Good morning," Olivia said, her voice raspy. The girl looked up, her face lighting up. "Hi, you're the lady who slept on our couch," she said cheerfully. "I'm Sophie. Daddy said a nice lady stayed because she got rained on." "That's you." Olivia smiled, her first real one in days. "I guess that's me. Nice to meet you, Sophie." A voice called from the kitchen. "Sophie, breakfast duty. Come help me burn the toast." Sophie giggled and ran off, her curls bouncing. Olivia stood stretching, her body stiff from the couch, and followed slowly. In the kitchen, Ben cracked eggs into a bowl, his flannel shirt untucked, a spatula in one hand. "You cook?" Olivia asked, surprise in her voice. Ben glanced over, a half smile tugging his lips. "Only if Sophie's brave enough to eat it." "Want to help?" She hesitated, then nodded. "I can try, but I'm not exactly a chef." He handed her a whisk. "Neither am I. That's why we burn a lot of toast." They moved around the small kitchen, Sophie climbing onto a stool to butter bread, Olivia fumbling with the eggs. The spatula slipped and a blob of eggs splattered onto the counter. "Oh no!" Olivia gasped, reaching for a towel. Sophie handed her a paper towel, grinning. "It's okay. Daddy spills stuff all the time." Olivia laughed, the sound surprising her. Ben scooped the mess back into the pan, unfazed. When they sat to eat, Olivia eyed her plate nervously, overcooked eggs, slightly burnt toast, chewy bacon. Ben ate every bite, his face straight. "This is great," he said. Olivia raised an eyebrow. "You don't have to lie." "I'm not," he said. "It's edible." "That counts." Sophie giggled, poking her food. Olivia caught Ben sneaking a fresh plate from the oven later, perfect eggs and toast made for Sophie just in case. She said nothing, but her chest warmed. Later, as Sophie built a Lego house, she whispered, "Daddy's eggs were better, but he ate yours anyway." Olivia's eyebrows rose. "He made more," Sophie nodded, "but he said not to tell." "Oops." Olivia smiled, walked to the kitchen, and leaned against the doorframe. Ben looked up mid-bite of his secret breakfast. "So I burn breakfast," she said. He grinned sheepishly. "You cook breakfast. That's what matters." "Why not tell me?" she asked. He shrugged. "First tries are messy. You just need someone to eat it anyway." Something shifted in Olivia's chest. This man, with his quiet kindness, was unlike anyone she'd known. Ben spoke casually as they washed dishes. "There's a laundromat down the block. Owner's a friend. I can ask if they need help if you're sticking around." Olivia hesitated. "I might need to earn some cash." "Lost my ID, my cards, everything. I'm—" A student, was out of state. It's complicated. Ben didn't pry. "Let me know. I'll walk you over." The laundromat smelled of detergent and damp clothes machines clanking in rhythm. The owner, a gruff woman named Marla, barely looked up. "You Ben's friend?" Olivia nodded. Marla tossed her an apron. "Start now." By noon, Olivia's hands were raw, her back aching. One customer snapped about a shrunken shirt. Another dumped 3 bags of laundry and demanded they be done by 5. She slumped in the alley during a break, staring at the dumpster, tempted to walk away. That evening, back at Ben's, she kicked off her shoes, wincing at blisters. The next morning, a pair of clean sneakers sat by the door, her size with a note. Your feet deserve better. Walk away if you want, but don't walk in pain. She held them, her throat tight, and put them on. Days blurred into routine. Olivia worked at the laundromat, folding endless towels, her hands chapped, but her resolve growing. Ben's words echoed, "You're earning something real now." One afternoon, as she folded clothes, a gold necklace with a sapphire pendant slipped from her bag, glinting under the fluorescent lights. She froze, shoving it back, but Ben saw it. "That's not something a broke student carries," he said quietly. Olivia's heart raced. "I forgot it was there," she mumbled. He stepped back, his face tightening. "Who are you really?" Before she could answer, the door jingled. A man in a leather jacket raised his phone, snapping a photo. "There you are, sweetheart. Your dad's offering 6 figures to find you." Olivia's breath caught. Ben grabbed her arm, pulling her to the back exit. "Go. Now." They ran to his truck, Ben's jaw tight. "What about Sophie?" Olivia gasped. "She's at school. I'll get her." Within the hour, Sophie was safe with Mrs. Clara Ortiz, the neighbor Ben trusted like family. They drove to the edge of town, Ben's hands steady on the wheel. "I'm someone who walked away from a world where everything has a price except love," Olivia said finally. "That's all you need to know." Ben's voice was low. "You left things out. That's the same as lying." She looked away, tears rising. "I know what it's like to be honest with someone who isn't," he added softer. The silence was heavy, broken only by the hum of the engine. That night, a black town car idled outside Ben's duplex, its sleek lines out of place on Haven Street. 2 men in suits stood by the porch, the front door ajar. Ben quickened his pace, stepping in front of Olivia. A third man emerged, tall, silver-haired, his presence like a storm cloud. "Olivia," he said coldly, "get in the car." Olivia froze. Ben turned to her. "Your father." She nodded. "Edward Langston." The man set his eyes, scanning the duplex with disdain. "You're the man hiding my daughter. I'm the man who gave her a couch when she had nowhere else." Ben replied, his voice steady. Edward stepped closer. "This place is beneath her." Olivia's voice shook but held firm. "This is home." Ben looked at her. "You don't have to go." She met his eyes, tears falling. "I think I do." The pressure wasn't physical. It was the weight of her old life crashing back. She stepped toward the car, pausing to whisper, "I'm sorry." Ben didn't respond, his jaw tight as the car's taillights faded into the night. The days that followed were quiet, too quiet. Ben worked his shifts, swept streets, packed Sophie's lunches, but his steps were heavier, his smiles forced. Sophie stopped humming, sleeping with the light on. On the fourth day, she started coughing, a cold, Ben thought, until fever hit, then chills. By midnight, she was burning up, trembling under blankets. Ben carried her to the truck, his keys shaking. At the hospital, the fluorescent lights glared, the nurse's voice flat. "We need a $6,000 deposit for admission." Ben's wallet held $100. "Can I pay part now?" he pleaded. "She's 6. He was still arguing when a voice cut through. "I've got it." Olivia stood there, coat over her arm, hair damp from rain. She handed the receptionist a card. "Put everything under my name, room meds. Tests, all of it." Ben stood frozen as they took Sophie to a room. An hour later, with Sophie's stable viral infection, treatable but needing monitoring, Ben sat by her bed, head in his hands. Olivia entered quietly. "You didn't have to do this," he said, voice low. She sat beside him. "I came back, Ben. For you." He exhaled, shaky. "Thank you." She looked at Sophie, sleeping, with a faint frown. "You told me everyone deserves to walk without pain," she said. "That goes for hearts, too." They sat in silence, the monitor's beep steady, a fragile rhythm of hope. Olivia stood in the marble hallway of her father's penthouse, the Chicago skyline glittering beyond floor-to-ceiling windows. Edward Langston sat at a glass table, reading financial reports, his face unreadable. "I figured you'd come back once the dust settled," he said coolly. Olivia crossed her arms. "I came to talk." He folded the paper. "You're living in denial, running around with a man who sweeps streets to keep the lights on." Her voice didn't waver. "He's a father who shows up for his daughter every day. He taught me more about strength in weeks than you did in years." Edward's eyes narrowed. "You love him?" "I do." He exhaled sharply, pacing to the window. "He can't give you anything." Olivia smiled softly. "He gives me everything that matters: dignity, truth." Edward poured a drink, his shoulders faltering. "I never meant to be the villain," he muttered. "I know," she said. "You just forgot how to be a person." She turned to leave. "I'm going back. Not running, walking toward my life." At the door, he stopped her. "Tell him he's lucky." She smiled gently. "No, I'm the lucky one." The knock came at sunrise, Ben in the kitchen shaping pancakes into stars for Sophie. He opened the door expecting Mrs. Ortiz with her usual tamales. Olivia stood there, a paper bag in hand. "For Sophie," she said softly. "Blueberry muffins, no preservatives." Ben froze. "I'm not here for the night," she added. "I'm here to stay if you'll have me." He searched her face, finding no doubt. "We're not rich," he said, voice rough. She stepped closer. "I've had everything: Ben, money, luxury. But I never had a kitchen with star pancakes, a home that loved me back." Sophie's voice broke in. "Gary." She ran from the hallway, wrapping her arms around Olivia's legs. Olivia knelt, hugging her. "Hey, sunshine, I brought muffins." Sophie beamed. "Are you staying forever?" Olivia looked at Ben. He nodded. "Yeah, kiddo. Forever sounds good." 2 months later, a crisp Saturday morning filled the park with laughter dogs and the smell of fresh coffee. Ben's old truck was now Carter's Kitchen, a weekend food stand serving burritos, muffins, and coffee. Olivia worked the griddle, her apron smudged, while Ben took orders, Sophie handing out napkins with stickers. They didn't make a fortune, but they made enough a life of family. Olivia caught Ben watching her, his smile soft. "Thank you," he mouthed. She grinned back. For the first time, she didn't need a penthouse to feel whole. She had them. The richest homes aren't built with wealth, but with kindness, honesty, and love. If this story touched your heart, share it. Subscribe to A Story That Lingers for more tales of compassion and second chances.